You mentioned earlier in your intro that you guys are representing Daily Caller News Foundation in a few lawsuits. The one I'm most excited about kind of fits into this investigating the investigators theme that we have. Although it's for the State Department, so State Department aren't technically investigators, but it's a lawsuit I'm pretty excited about because we're looking at, you guys are helping us look for all the communications between Christopher Steele and State Department officials regarding the dossier, and even before, we're looking for the 100 or so reports that Christopher Steele allegedly provided the State Department to, and the State Department has claimed that Steele was a reliable source, and that kind of fed into the narrative that the FBI said that he's a reliable source, and they've used his documentation to further the collusion investigation. So really excited about that. I think that the State Department, you've had a few Republican congressmen and a few watchdogs and other people in the media point out the State Department's role, but I think they played a significant role in the early days of disseminating the dossier, disseminating Christopher Steele's work, and also at least one State Department official served as a source for the media for the infamous article about Carter Page here, the Michael Isikoff article. A guy named Jonathan Weiner was a source for that article and for subsequent articles that were intended to bolster the allegations of the dossier, which we now have been all but debunked by the Mueller report. So, I focus a lot on the dossier in my reporting. I just think it's, despite the spin that has emerged over the past couple years, I still think it's just the central document to this whole investigation. James Comey and others, Comey in his op-ed yesterday, rehashed the argument that the dossier wasn't the spark for the investigation, which maybe that's technically true, but there are a couple of problems with that, and I think that's something that we need to look into. From my perspective as a journalist, Judicial Watch as a watchdog group, there were activities before Crossfire Hurricane kicked off. We have informants, Stefan Halper, who met with Carter here 3 weeks before the investigation formally kicked off. You had Loretta Lynch and James Comey discussing Carter actually in the spring of 2016. So this is before the investigation officially commences. They're at least thinking about looking into Carter and the campaign and other people. So we need to figure out why what happened, what was the catalyst for that. And then, as I mentioned, we have Stefan Halper, who was a longtime FBI informant, who was up to something in the weeks before Crossfire Hurricane opened. And then the dossier enters the picture, at least as far as being provided to the FBI sometime in September of 2016. So if the dossier wasn't the catalyst of Crossfire Hurricane, it was at least the engine that drove this idea that there was collusion between Trump associates and the campaign. It also has fueled, and I think this is more important actually, it's fueled the media narrative over the last 2 years. I mean, this has literally placed a cloud over the Trump administration. And innocent people as well outside of the administration, Carter included. We have to look at how that came about, why the media, and I'm not saying investigate the media in terms of criminal investigation, but media watchdogs, reporters like myself need to take a harder look at what the media got wrong, why they appear to have fallen for this false narrative, and all of this is kind of with an eye on trying to prevent it from happening again. We went through a debacle in the lead up to the Iraq War, where there's false intelligence that led the drumbeats of war, and that happened. So we had to take a step back and figure out why we got into that. And there's a similar situation, I believe, here, in the sense that this information that is false was perpetuated, pushed through the media, and was used to plant a cloud over the Trump administration.
Well, I'd like to make one legal point,
Yeah,
just
sure.
while, because Chuck just said that Steele was reliable. I practiced Fourth Amendment law for about 5 years as an assistant U.S. attorney. It's not the provider of the information that has to be reliable. It's the people that he or she gets the information from. And there was no basis to support one iota of anybody that Steele got information from was reliable.
Chuck, you kind of talked about this a little bit. I think an uncomfortable truth for the media is there's no media exception to the Espionage Act. So in my view, you had media organizations like the Washington Post and New York Times that were knowingly publishing classified information. They admitted they were publishing classified information. And the same way Julian Assange has been targeted for prosecution, these same folks arguably could be. Do I think that's going to happen or should happen? Probably not. But certainly these media entities are witnesses to crimes, and they know who the crooks are in the Obama and Trump administrations who are unlawfully leaking this classified information, targeting you and targeting Flynn and targeting President Trump and others in a way that makes them unable, I think, to fairly report on it without acknowledging this role they've had in helping this misconduct take place, this government misconduct take place.